Today we're going to take a look at the SAGA terrain set from Playmats.eu. So this is a quick highlight of everything we're getting in here. We're going to get basically an entire set of SAGA terrain, the maximum availability of every single piece for one game of SAGA. So I purchased one of these in, I would say summer 2021, and come on out of here, you. I've been using it for about a year and a half now, I guess, and I've got some SAGA events coming up, and I decided to purchase 8 more at a discount. I was given one set for free in exchange for a review, but I guess if you know that I purchased a bunch more out of pocket, that probably means it's a good product and I support it. So let's take a closer look. You're going to get a rocky ground. There's 3 of these fields here, appropriate dimensions. So you've probably seen these in the video battle report, I hope. We've got 2 swamps, forests out the wazoo. There's 1 big one and 3 of the small ones. Ruins, got a hill and a steep hill, rocky hill, and I think I already showed you the rocky ground, but this is what you're looking at. So for $60, that's a pretty good value. What I was using previously was these kind of hardboard bases I made for most of the terrain, and then you can just put rocks on top of them for rocky ground. Trees for trees. So this is kind of what the neoprene set is up against. That was what I was using for a long time. So the mat that everything is on is a Frontline gaming mat that I chopped in half to make it 3x4, the grassland. So in my opinion, the Playmat.eu SAGA terrain really matches it pretty well. Now, there's a couple of reasons I prefer this terrain. So one, just looking at it on video and pictures and stuff, if you are using neoprene, having these toppers just kind of looks a little off, in my opinion. Now, if you're looking at them with your eyeballs, I like match these colors pretty dang close, but for some reason, I don't know, with the movie magic cameras, they just look different than what your eyes perceive, so they never seem to look as good as the neoprene stuff in pictures or video. So, you know, I'm taking video of my stuff. That's important to me. As far as portability, just carrying everything around in a bag is pretty darn handy. But yeah, having a bunch of these, as long as you have a tub, you know, you're good anyways. And I do use toppers on this stuff, and we'll get into that. But for playability purposes, the neoprene stuff is great, and a lot of action happens on the edges of the board in SAGA. So having your figures being able to straddle, just be in, is pretty nice. It's not too bad on these. If you're doing really elaborate stuff, like the pond here, it gets really difficult to straddle the edges here, especially if you have calves, something like that. So can be kind of annoying. So from a playability perspective, loving the neoprene here. And then as far as the looks go, I kind of mentioned the neoprene stuff looks better on video and camera, but I do think you need toppers for it. So I've come up with some trees here, and kind of depending on the angle, yeah, they look pretty good. And yeah, I think for any of the terrain that's low or high, you really should have something on top of it. So for a hill, I think it's fine just to have this. And even when I was playing hills with that stuff, I would just leave it blank. But I never found a good solution for the steep hill. So the steep hill will slow you down, but doesn't provide any cover. So I think just leaving it flat like that is appropriate. let's take a look at some of the other stuff here. I got the rocky ground going like that. I'll just use the same stuff here. I did try to color match it as best I could. Again, visually, in real life, these colors I matched them pretty close, but it just doesn't look that close. On video, my favorite stuff is some of the stuff I did for the fields. These haystacks here are pretty good representation. You could use fences too. I've got some fences that I'm probably going to add as well, because they provide some light cover for you. Got the ruins here. This is just some 3D printed stuff. I don't have a 3D printer, but my buddy, we've all got a buddy nowadays who does. So yeah, it looks pretty good having the 3D stuff on top of it. So I would recommend that. Otherwise it's fine. You might get some nasty comments if you don't have toppers on there. I know some people don't like them for some reason. So for $60, I think it's a really good value compared to, oh man, it took me a long time to cut out the hardboard, to flock it, to paint it, to dry brush, color it. I mean, it's probably 5, 6, 7 hours worth of work to get those boards done. I don't kind of anal retentive and slow with stuff, so maybe that's just me. But so $60 for saving 5, 6, 7 hours of work, I think works well, and I think it is a good value. I think these sets are good for events. I'll be using these at my events going forward. And if you play a game of SAGA, you only need 4 or 5 pieces of terrain. So realistically, one bag of this terrain can cover 2 tables. So we're shooting for 20 tables of availability at my events. So 10 sets of this terrain should more than cover it. And yeah, I recommend it for the SAGA players out there. And if you have any questions on anything, let me know. But yeah, give it a thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.